Hello and welcome, weary traveler. September is always a welcome sigh of relief. The humidity has started to fade and temperatures cooled slightly. The tulip trees were the first to mark this change in the weather. These final days of summer also signify the final days of the summer garden. This was my first year keeping a garden. In many ways it was a challenge, but it also felt right and natural, like it was something I was always meant to do, like I've unlocked some part of myself that was always meant to be. It made me a little sad to start tearing everything down, but the plants were no longer yielding and soon the weather will turn too cold. I hope to extend the season a little longer next year and plant for the fall as well, but right now I think it's best to wrap up this year's garden to begin preparing for next year. One of my many mistakes in the garden this year was not providing adequate trellises to help the plants grow vertically instead of just tangling up with each other. I truly had no idea just how big my plants would get, how well they would grow, as many people told me not to expect much yield out of my first year gardening. So next year I'm going to trellis the mess out of that garden. I've begun collecting branches from around the edges of the woods to make them. It's definitely a lot more work, but I like the way using natural material looks, and I'm trying to save money where I can. Gardening can be quite expensive upfront.
It's the first katydid of the season. Hello, friend. I came out here to film because I thought it might be peaceful, but the forest is still very frenetic. Thankfully, there are far less mosquitoes than even just a couple weeks ago. That's the road that's like right there. But still, there's so much buzzing and movement, and the path is very overgrown. I didn't come out here like at all during the summer because it feels very hostile, which feels like a silly way to describe the woods, but there's so many ticks and mosquitoes and they just are trying to get at you constantly, and I'm walking through cobwebs and spider webs everywhere, and the thorns have overgrown the path, and I know these are just the course of nature. There's nothing wrong with them, well, except for mosquitoes and ticks. They have absolutely no reason to exist. I'm very excited for the weather to cool down so I can come out here and get back to work fixing up the path. It's really overgrown, and I also want to expand it in a few different directions and make a new path. There's some little white flowers up on the hill that I've never noticed before. I might see if I can go pick some. Maybe I'll just pick some ferns too while I'm out here.
Last summer, Charles suggested that we get longboards as an activity to do together. I had had a longboard during college that I rode to work and classes, but I stupidly sold it after graduation because I didn't think I'd have anywhere to ride it. Don't sell your longboard, basically, is what I'm saying. We haven't been able to get out with them very often, but it's a great way to spend warm evenings. This night in particular, we made a final trip to Rita's Italian Ice before they close for the season. Thank you so much for being here. Safe travels, and I'll see you soon.